So yes, those look good, right? Those look really good. So yeah, and also one more thing, just grab a strap before you sit down. Grab a strap, regular yoga strap if you have it. Yeah, I think we're going to use that today too. So we're going to start seated. Now, you are welcome to find that pillow that you just went and got and sit on the pillow. Or you can sit up on a blanket and just start to get comfortable. And we're just going to take the hands in any position that feels good. So drawing all of your awareness, once you're seated, we're going to start to take the gaze within. So starting to close the eyes, if that's comfortable, or just gaze down towards your nose. We're going to start to take a moment to notice the sitting bones as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And if you're comfortable keeping your mouth closed, you can continue breathing in and out through the nose. You need to exhale through the mouth to do that. But just become aware of your sitting bones. And just as if you were curious, notice the sitting bones as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Just noticing. And you might perceive a very subtle widening as you inhale and a little narrowing as you exhale. Just see if that is there, and if not, it's fine, but just notice the sitting bones. And continue breathing. And then we're just going to let the breath be natural. And today we're going to explore this area of the perineum, which is between the back and the front, the pubic symphysis in the front and the coccyx bone in the back. And a lot of times when we do root lock, there will be this instruction to just squeeze the rectum, which is a very gross way of getting in there. And we're going to find a little more subtlety, right? And so I want you to take a moment to find the sitting bones again. And imagine that the two sitting bones come towards one another. The front and back come towards one another. And there's a lift in the middle of the bladder in and up. So there is, the pelvic floor is the support system, and then just release all of that. So again, we're going to find the two sitting bones coming towards one another, just slightly. Find the front and the back, pubic symphysis towards the coccyx, so the pubic bone towards the tailbone coming towards one another. And imagine you're going to lift the bladder slightly in and up, and just hold that for a moment and see if you can find an inner lift more than external muscles. And then exhale and let that go. And I know that's asking a lot, actually. So we're going to do that again. Imagine that there is this two sitting bones come towards one another. The pubic bone comes towards the tailbone, and then you lift in and up and you hold for a moment and just pause. And then you exhale. And then just go back to feeling as you breathe in, sense the sitting bones widening maybe. As you exhale, notice that they might narrow a little bit. And just again, you can even take your hands and kind of imagine that action. As you inhale, the hands come apart. As you exhale, they come a little closer. And just do that a few times. Inhale, feeling the widening. Exhale, feeling the drawing together. And now we're going to lift in and up everything, front to back, and then lift up and hold, and just contain that for a moment. And exhale and just let that go. And we're going to bring the palms to meet and tune in with Om and our triple mantra. And we're going to continue working that pelvic floor throughout the practice today. Om. bringing the hands right under the rib cage, clasping them. Adgure name, Shugagure name, Satgure name, Sri Guru Deve name, Ad Sach Shugad Sach Hebe Sach Nanako Sibi Sach, Ad Sach Shugad Sach Hebe Sach Nanako Sibi Sach. Ad Gure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Sri Guru Deve Name, Ad Sach Jugat Sach Hevi Sach Nanako Sibi Sach, Ad Sach Jugat Sach Hevi Sach Nanako Sibi Sach. Ad Gure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Sri Guru Deve Name, Ad Sach Jugat Sach Hevi Sach Nanako Sibi Sach, Ad Sach Jugat Sach Hevi Sach Nanako Sibi Sach. Do one more Om. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're going to start on our backs with those pillows. So go ahead and lie down and grab your pillow. And I'm going to do this with you. So yes. Oh, question, Shoshana? Hear me? I have it up as far as I can. Do I just need to talk louder? Can you guys hear me now? You know? I might be able to go into preferences and just see what's happening. Maybe it's gotten a little lower. Do you guys want me to do that? Yeah, let me just check real speed.
I can hear you fine, Janet.
Okay, so maybe it's them, but I'm gonna just see what's going on with the sound. It's pretty far up, but let me just go a little further
Janet,
up.
I can hear you fine, so I think it's with Fred and Shoshana's computer.
Okay, hold on a sec. I don't know what happened to us. Here we go. Let's start. Enid?
I can hear you fine.
Don't worry about it, Janet. It's fine.
No, but what I'm saying is I can't get back in to see you guys.
Oh,
I'm trying to
goodness.
find you guys. I don't know what happened here. Okay, let's just see here.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. What's funny is I'm back in the meeting and it's sort of like, it's just not, yeah, I don't know what happened. Give me a sec. I will figure it out. It is, where's?
We can all always come back in too, if that helps.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go out. I'm going to just go out and I'll be right back in. Okay, so guys, stay there. Oh, here I am. Woo, that was like, what is going on? All right, get your pillows, lie down. All right, so can you guys hear better now? No? I think maybe it's your computer because Enid said
no problem. I can hear you fine.
Okay, all right. Grab your pillows. I'm going to stay here for this moment. And I want you to lie down and put the pillow between your knees. So it's between your legs. Yeah. And we're going to go back to this feeling the pelvic floor again. So make sure your arms are relaxed, your lower back is relaxed. You're going to breathe in and let the belly soften, let the pelvis tilt forward. On an exhale, find the perineum, find that very lift in and up, and then you're going to continue that and lift the hips off the ground, taking the knees away from you. And then you're going to slowly exhale to come down today, one vertebra at a time. So you're going to inhale, tilt the pelvis, let the belly soften, and then find that beautiful two sitting bones coming towards one another, pubic bone towards the tailbone, lift in and up, and let that continue today as you lift yourself up. And notice it's connected to the inner thighs, the pelvis, the pelvic floor. And then you're gonna slowly exhale and come down, okay? And I'm just gonna watch you guys. So you're gonna take an inhale to soften, and exhale, lift in and up and lift the hips. Let it continue to reach the hips up. And then you'll inhale to come down today. And then from here, you're gonna find that again, exhale and lift. So we're just gonna continue doing that. So it'll be an inhale to bring you down. And then you're gonna lift back up and find that pelvic floor. Lift and reach, take your knees away from you. So we're gonna do a few more. You're gonna inhale, come down. And then find that lift in and up and squeeze the little pillow a little bit. Now stay here with the hips lifted. Let's take a breath in. Take a breath out. Keep that lift in and up, and think about also drawing the navel slightly in and up. So we're doing a little more Pilates-esque today, moving bridge. And then you're gonna release and let that go. You may like the pillow there to take your knees over to the right. You might want to let it go, and you're going to find a supine twist. So you're going to look over towards your left hand and just take a couple breaths. Good. So you're taking your knees to the right. You might use that pillow, yeah. And then open your arms out into a T. Let that upper back be on the floor, and just notice what it feels like to be in a little supine twist today. Good. And then come on to your other side and just notice, how do you need to arrange yourself to be in a supine twist? Good. And just pause. So that pillow might feel really nice. Take a breath here. Good. And then go ahead and come onto your back. And from here, you're going to go ahead and come up to all fours. So go ahead and take your blanket, if you know you need a blanket, right into the middle of your mat. If you know you need a blanket for your knees. And we're going to continue that exploration. So I'm coming into a neutral spine. And then from here, I'm going to find a little bit of an inhale, but I'm not going to come fully into cow. I'm just going to inhale and let my sitting bones widen. As I exhale, I'm going to draw the two sitting bones together and find the perineum lifting in and up and the navel in and up, and really push my hands away from me and find this wonderful cat and really feel that I'm lifting the pelvic floor here. And then as I release, I am coming into a little baby cow today. So I'm taking a breath in, and then as I exhale, I'm going to find first those places, the two sitting bones coming towards one another, pubic bone towards the tailbone, lifting the perineum, feeling that lift in and up, in and up, in and up, and press into cat. And then the cow becomes a release forward as you inhale. So see if you can play with that, really accentuating the cat pose from the sitting bones, from the pelvic floor a few times. Yeah, and then let the head go. Really let the head go when you come up into that cat. Let that head hang like a piece of fruit from a tree. Yes. And then come into a subtle cow, just a little bit of the cow today, not too much. Yeah. And then one more time, pull everything in and up. Really feel that you're pulling in and up as hard, as much as you can. And then the cow becomes a release of that. Good. And then just for a moment, come into your version of child's pose. Tuck your toes, widen the sitting bones, or keep your hands stacked. Find your hands on those, head on the hands, and just take a few breaths. Feeling the belly soften. Letting the belly come towards the earth. Letting go. Good. And then go ahead and come up. This is where blocks would be nice if you have them. You're going to take your blocks on the left side of the mat, take your right foot on the right side of the mat. You're going to have your blocks either on the lowest level, maybe on the medium height. But what we want is the right knee and ankle to line up, but more importantly, the right foot to support this structure. My left leg is, I'm gonna scoot it back, so I'm at the front of my left knee, so I have a nice stretch on the left thigh. And I'm going to make little circles. So if you know you don't need blocks and you want your hands on the floor, you can do that. But make little circles. Make sure your hands are touching the floor or blocks. Yeah. And you're gonna make a circle. Imagine that you have a hula hoop around your waist. And then you're gonna go in the opposite direction. And notice one direction might be a little easier than the other. From here, you're going to take the toes of your right foot and lift them up and off to the right. You're going to see how it feels to bring your right hand onto your right thigh. Keep your right knee and ankle lined up and look over your right shoulder for a moment. Now, if that does not feel good, take both hands back to the inside. We're going to stay here and breathe. So stabilize right knee over ankle. Don't let the knee go out or in. Take a breath. Notice the breath. See if you can take that inhale and exhale through the nose. And then you're going to bring your hands back to the inside. Take your toes to face forward. Bring your right knee to the blanket or the floor and go to the other side. Left foot to the outside. And we do the same thing on the left side. Blocks or floor. Get your right leg back so that you're at the front of the kneecap, not in the middle, and you have a good stretch on that right thigh. And start to make those circles as if you have a hula hoop on your waist. So you're circling one direction and then you're going to go in the other. Yeah, so really feeling the hips are going to move up and down basically and side to side. Good. Now you're going to stay here. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. You're going to stay here and turn, lift your toes of your left foot and take them out to the left. Now notice if that knee has been wobbling around, keep it over the ankle. Maybe lift your left arm up to that left thigh. So your right elbow and shoulder need to be lined up, right? Now you're going to take a moment to breathe and feel that stretch on the right thigh all the way and look over your left shoulder. Take a breath. Feel supported by your hand, by your leg, by your foot. Come back to center with your hands. Turn your toes to face forward. Take your left knee back to the mat. And then from here, I want you to grab one of your blocks and place it between your thighs. You're going to tuck your toes, take your hands slightly in front of you, press all 10 knuckles down, look forward, squeeze the block as you lift up and find downward dog with the block. So you're going to find that the thighs are working, and you can find a little of that pelvic floor work. Start to find that here. Breathing in, breathing out. And then I want you to walk, keeping that block, coming into a plank pose. Now you can curl the tail a little bit. You're gonna have to. And then come right back into downward facing dog. So yes, there's gonna be a widening of the sitting bones, but still find a little bit of that lift in and up. Take a deep breath here. And then bring the knees down, remove the block. Find child's pose. Okay, and just take 3 breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing the quality of the breath today. And then let's come up and take that block one more time between the thighs. Hands are slightly in front of you. Finding that little thumb and index, a little internal rotation, pinky, a little external. Open the chest, look forward. Really feel the thighs touching the block as you reach up and back, pressing the hands down and away. Good. Now walk your hands back to your feet. Hands back to your feet. You're going to feel those thighs working. You're pressing into the block, hang for a moment. And then from here, reverse swan dive. Keep a little softness. Inhale, reach up, arms alongside the body. Inhale, lift up, look up at your palms and find a prayer. And I'm just going to adjust the camera, and then you're gonna come to the front of your mat. Good. Need to lift up a little. You're gonna keep that block and use that block. So you might have another block in front of you if you know that your hands don't touch the floor. But keep the block between your thighs for now. Good. I'm gonna turn to face you, but I want you facing in front of the mat. We're gonna inhale, lift up, arms alongside your ears. Can you drop the bottom of the rib cage? And here, can you feel a little bit of that mula bandha, that little lift in and up? Can you find that? And then let it go. Notice what happens. And then find it again. You'll feel that you'll squeeze the block a little more. And then let it go. And one more time, we're going to find a little bit of that lifting in and up. Exhale, now release and come all the way down, hands on the block in front of you or the floor. Release, release, release. And I'm going to inhale halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, hands below my knees. I lengthen. And then I exhale, forward fold. I'm going to squeeze the block to lift back up, arms overhead, take a look up. Exhale and prayer. Arms by your sides, find Tadasana, mountain pose. So can you have some little subtleties in your mountain pose today? Can you find a little softening of the bottom of the rib cage so it's not jutting up towards the ceiling? Can you have a little lift, not a gripping, but a little internal lift? And then let it go and notice what happens. And then find that lift again. And then reach up from that lift, let your arms reach up. And then exhale, come into a forward fold, letting everything go, let your head go, shake it out. You're going to inhale halfway, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, squeeze the block, lift up, feeling your strong legs. Exhale and prayer. Moving on, lifting the arms up, find upward facing. Can you drop the rib cage, but keep a little bit of that lift going? Yes. Exhale, come into a forward fold. Just watch you guys. Good, come all the way down. Now, from here, can you take your hands to the floor and start to waddle? So they're gonna have to waddle to come back into downward facing dog. Yes, it's gonna be a waddle. And find downward dog. I'm gonna shut the window because there's a lot of noise. So, stay there, breathe. Squeezing that block. Good. And then come down, knees come down, remove the block, child's pose. Really nice. So that block is going to inform us that the pelvic floor and the inner thighs are connected, right? There's a connection. Take a breath here. Then move the block off to the side if it's not already, just for a moment. Come up from child's pose. We're going to straighten the arms, lift into a little bit of that cat shape. Keeping the lower legs on the floor, arms straight, release the hips, look forward. Let a little lion's tongue, a little lion's breath. Lift back through a cat shape. So find that lift from the pelvis, draw the chin into the chest. Find your child's pose again. And from child's pose, can you come right into downward facing dog, pretending you still have that block between your thighs. And then walk your feet towards your hands. Walk your feet towards the front of the mat. Hang out here, letting your head go. And then you're going to imagine that block is there as you inhale, lift up. One big breath. Exhale, prayer. From here, we're going to take the blocks coming into a wide stance. You're going to have your blocks. Let's turn the right foot out. I'm going to try to mirror you. And take your block today on the inside of your right foot. We're going to get nice and long, back foot parallel. You're going to bend that right knee over the ankle. So find your warrior two. You might bend and straighten a little bit, yeah. Now, open the upper body, find warrior two. See if you can find a little lift of the pelvic floor. It's a little more difficult here, but just a little attention. And then bring your gaze over your right arm. You're gonna inhale, lift up. This is where you can find that lift of the pelvic floor. And then you're gonna exhale and release. And we're gonna inhale, lift everything up. And exhale, release. And let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, stay here. Even though we're in wide position a little bit, you're going to find a little lift of the pelvic floor. And take your right hand to the block. So if you don't have it in the right place or you need another one, grab it. So your hand is on a block and you're going to reach your top arm up so that your right arm, left arm will get it. And then you're going to take your left arm towards the wall in front of you, over your left ear. And then let it continue so that you bring your left hand to the inside of the foot. And you're going to spiral onto the ball of your back foot. Now you're in a lunge, right? With your right knee and ankle lined up. Now this is where we're going to have some fun today. So from here, I want you to play. You might probably have to take your back foot in a little bit. I want you to play with coming onto that front leg. Play, you might be right here, with coming into a standing split so that your right leg is pressing down as you reach your left leg up. And it might just be a pinky toe off the floor, that's okay. Take a breath. Then you're going to slowly bend that front knee, take the toe down, reach back into a lunge, parallel your feet. Take a moment to reach your hands forward and reach your sitting bones wide and let your head go. Breathe. And take a few breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. From here, take your hands right under your face, take your hands to your hips, come up to stand. Now we're going to take the block over to the left side, take it on the inside. Good. And you're going to start to bend and straighten your left leg, getting a 90-degree angle eventually on that thigh, finding your warrior two. And then we're going to open the upper body. And even here, to start to find a little subtle, can I find a little lift in and up? And I'm going to start to find a little more as I inhale and I lift and straighten. And then I'm going to allow a little release as I exhale. So I'm going to find a little lift up and a little release. Let's do one more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. This time that left hand comes to the block, wherever you are. And you reach the top arm up, the right arm up, and you pause. And then you take it over your ear, right ear towards, or left ear towards the wall in front of you. And then let it continue down to the floor and find a lunge. Move the block or use the blocks, and then turn your back foot in so you're now in the lunge. Left knee and ankle are lined up. And you might bring your back foot in a little bit to start to play with pushing down into that left leg, left foot as you lift the right leg up. So I'm doing a standing split. Yeah, my hands are on the floor, and I'm going to just lift up as high as I can behind me. You might just get your toe off the floor, and then bend that left knee, take your back foot down, and parallel your feet. Parallel the feet. From here, grab yogi toe lock, index and middle finger, grab the big toe or your ankles. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, bending your elbows, taking the top of the head towards the floor. Take a few breaths. Stay there and breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. Inhaling, exhaling. Now, take your hands to your hips, come up to stand, bring both feet together and shake it out. Good. We are going to come onto our bellies. So we're going to do a little locust pose today, coming onto the belly, taking your forehead to the ground. And just breathe and just be here for a moment. Take your palms to face down. So my arms are by my hips and my palms are facing down. And I'm going to find a little bit of that pelvic floor lift. And notice that it actually helps the navel to come in towards the spine too. So I'm going to find a little pelvic floor lift. And from there, start to reach the upper body off the ground, keeping my palms on the floor, looking towards the floor. And then I'll exhale, come down, and I just let everything go. So I'm going to find a little bit of that pelvic floor lift today. The navel starts to come in towards the spine. And then I start to reach, heart forward, crown of the head forward. And exhale, come down. I'm just going to watch you through the next ones. So we're going to continue the same thing. So you're going to lift up and now see if you can also lift the legs off the ground. Keep your chin to your chest a little more. Yeah, and then lift the chest up. And then you can start to lift up, up, up. Beautiful. And exhale, come down. So just for a minute without raising the body up, find a little bit of that pelvic floor lift. And then from there, lift up the upper body, lift maybe the legs as well. You're going to find the navel drawing into the spine. That'll protect the lower back. Exhale, release, and come into child's pose. And take 3 or 4 breaths in child's pose. And notice how it feels to be in child's pose. Notice the quality of your breath. And then go ahead and grab a block, come up to sit in a nice wide leg V position. So what I'd like you to feel is that your pelvis can tilt forward. For most of us, we will need to bend our knees to feel that my pelvis can tilt forward, right? Okay, so try doing it without your knees bent. And see what happens. And notice that if you bend your knees, you're going to be able to tilt the pelvis forward. Yeah. And then from here, we're going to simply walk the hands forward and release the head and be there for a few breaths. Yep, you're just reaching forward, relaxing the shoulders. Yes. Take another breath here. And then walk back up, grab a block. And you might be out of blocks. I realize that. You might use your pillow. You're going to bring it on the inside of your left leg. You're going to take your left forearm to that pillow or block and reach the right arm up. And what I'd like you to do is make some movements. Don't get stiff in this. Move your head, move the arm up and back. Make some circles with that arm before you bring it overhead. Make some circles. And eventually you bring it going towards your foot over the ear. And maybe you keep a little bend and you move the belly towards the ceiling. Yes. Notice your head. Move your head around if you feel stiff in the neck. Move it. And just feel that right side of the body. Take a breath in. And you're going to come back up. And once again, I want you to walk forward and see if one side feels a little different. You might notice one side feels a little longer. Take a breath here. Yeah. And then walk back up and take the block to the other side. So now your right forearm will hold onto that, whatever pillow or block. Find some circles. Find some circles with that top arm. Watch your head, right? We get really cranky in the neck. So just move around in ways that feel good, and eventually maybe taking it over the ear towards the foot. But notice, is your head still kind of holding tension in your neck, can you move around a little bit today and not be stiff? Yes. And then you're going to find a few breaths here, breathing in and breathing out. Take another breath. And come back up. And then let's take the block or Fred, you might have to use the pillow. We're going to put the block between the feet and find this shape. Baddha Konasana with the block, yeah. Or a pillow, just something you can really press into. Take your hands behind you and press into that block to open the hips. Yes. Press, 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 press. You should feel that pretty strongly. It's just an even press. Good. Take another breath. We're going to remove the block, and it's going to feel easy now to bring your feet together. You're like, oh, much easier. Good. Now, I would take another moment to just take your arms behind you and just be here. And again, press your feet into one another to feel that opening of the inner thighs. Take a breath. And then you can start to come forward and imagine you could open up your feet like a book. Pinky toes stay touching, bending the elbows, going as far down as it feels right to your back, to your body. Don't lose that pelvic tilt forward. Yeah. So Fred, come back up for a second. Lengthen your spine. Keep that length and just try to come forward a little bit. Yeah. Exactly. It might not be very far, but keep those shoulders relaxed. There we go. Yeah. Breathe, breathe, breathe. So feel and notice what is going on in the hips, in the lower back. Take a few breaths. And then you're going to come back up. Take your hands on your hips, come back up, take the legs out. Go ahead and give them a big shake. And we're going to play with this idea again of the pelvis tilting forward as I come into my forward. So there's like a little wheel here. It's as if I don't want to go back here, but I want to tilt the pelvis forward. So if there's a little bend in the knees, that might accommodate that and come into your forward fold today. And just release your head. Find that tilt today. So coming up, sitting up higher on something can often help that, right? So if I sit up on a blanket, I might find more of that. So it might take your time to do that, to sit up on something or your pillow. And then just release over top of the head towards the top of the feet and take 3 or 4 breaths here. Breathing in and out through the nose. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, and then slowly coming back up. And then from here, let's have one of your blocks nearby and go ahead and come to lie down. And just take the block between the thighs. And let your feet be hips distance apart. We're going to keep the arms down by the sides to begin or to start. We're going to find this very similar to what we did at the beginning, tilting the pelvis as you inhale. As you exhale, finding those subtle lock of the pelvic floor, lifting up and finding a little bridge that is not pushing the chest forward today, just really finding that lift of the pelvis and then the navel in and up, and then coming down one vertebra at a time to release all of that. So we're going to inhale and tilt the pelvis, and then exhale, find the 2 sitting bones coming towards one another, pubic bone towards the tail, lift in and up to let that reach you up, up, up. Now you can stay here and take a few breaths. Keep squeezing the block. And then you're going to slowly come down one vertebra at a time. Remove the block and then take your knees over your hips. We're going to bring the knees together Take the legs together, the inner thighs, they're zipped together, and take your arms, I'm gonna move flowers because they're gonna go flying. You're gonna take your arms out into a T. We're gonna do a little subtle core work here, but not so subtle. So your legs are together, your knees are bent. And we're just gonna go side to side, trying to keep the opposite shoulder blade on the floor. So we might not go so far, but really keeping that awareness of the inner thighs touching. Yes, and your lower back, you're starting in the middle, feeling the lower back, but then you're gonna roll to one side and then to the other side. Yes, good. And then keep maybe looking towards the ceiling, breathing. You might start to get a little lower. Good. And then if you want to play, you're gonna go to the right side and maybe extend that top leg, but keep squeezing the legs together and come back into that little chair and go do it to the other side. So I'm going to take the top leg and straighten it, but keep it glued to the other leg and bring it back. Or you might just stick with the first thing, just the leg. That might be enough, right? You're straightening and bending. And then you're going to come back to the other side and straighten and bend. And then let's take both legs up to the ceiling. Let's take the hands underneath the butt a little bit. So you kind of protect your lower back. Have your hands a little bit under the buttocks. Yeah. Both legs are together. Feet are flexed up above you. Yeah. If you need to bend the knees, it's fine. We're going to make little circles. So I'm circling both legs together to the right. I'm making very little circles. I'm still drawing the navel to the spine. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Opposite direction. Good. Now I'm going to lift my arms up so that my palms face each other and I drop my shoulder blades. I keep my legs together, feet are flexed. I'm going to draw the navel down towards the spine, lower back is flattened as much as I can. And I start to take my legs down without losing the connection navel to spine. And then there's going to come a point where you have to lift back up. Doesn't have to be very high. So keep your feet facing the ceiling and just start to go down a couple of inches. Don't try to go all the way to the floor. Really keep that control and then lift back up. And we're going to do that a few times. Press your shoulder blades down, draw the navel in, flattening the lower back and lifting back up. And we're going to do that one more time. So you're really finding some control. Coming back up. Now take the legs wide. Hands can go on the inner thighs. And then from here, start to circle your ankles. Legs are wide. They're just out, straight out. So you're taking your legs straight out into a V. And then you're going to go in the opposite direction. Circle the ankles. Now, I want you to find your feet. Find the soles of the feet. And then open back up. Take your hands out of the equation. Find your feet. Soles of the feet come together and open back up. Find the soles of the feet, open back up. And then I want you to take your arms up and play from your core and move your arms, move your legs as if the only way I can describe this is like you're a bug who got turned over and you're trying to get back onto all fours, but we're using the core, we're emanating from the core to move, yes, or you're like a baby, basically. Good, and then from here, shake the feet, shake your hands, let whatever gets stuck, you're gonna let those ankles move, let your palms move, make a sound, shake, 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 you're letting go of energy that got stuck, let it go. Pause, and then bring your knees in your chest and rock. Side to side, hands on your shins. Make little circles. Find some nice circles, as opposed to not nice. Take your knees apart and together. Good. And then just take your feet to the ground and extend one leg long. Extend the other, see how it feels to take your arms overhead for a moment, maybe finding a little cat stretch, really elongating before you bring yourself into your final rest. So you might stay in a cat shape today or an X, or you might bend your knees, but just notice what your body is desiring and allow that to happen. Because now is the time to release and let go and simply be present. Let your tongue relax. Let your eyes relax. And this is a time to let go. Feeling the support of the floor, support of your breath, of nature, of all the things in your life that support you. Breathing into all of that beautiful support and exhaling out any feelings of not being supported. From Thich Nhat Hanh, the best way to reunite with your body is through your breath. Awareness of breathing brings your mind back to your body. Be with your body and remember you have a body. Release any tension and bring calm to your body. This is the first step in restoring wellness. Bringing your mind home to your body, you become established in the here and now. And you have a chance to live your life and experience each moment deeply. When you're in touch with your body, you're in touch with life, the cosmos, and planet Earth. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Feeling the whole body as you breathe in, and the whole body as you breathe out. And just allow your breath to bring you back into your body, feeling your fingers and your toes, or just staying in this lengthened position. When you feel ready, bending your knees, and just pause there for a moment. Allowing your knees to come into your chest and do a little rocking on your back. That feels good. So allow yourself to imagine you're giving yourself a massage, your lower back. And just roll to one side and pause. Just come back up to find your seat or stay on the floor and be in an upright position, going back to sensing the sitting bones as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Maybe having just a little more awareness of the whole pelvic floor and the movement as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And just for a moment, finding that lift, two sitting bones towards one another, pubic bone towards the tailbone, lifting the bladder, lifting the navel in and up, and holding, and imagine that energy traveling all the way up to between the eyebrows, pausing, pineal gland, pituitary, pausing, and then releasing that. And we'll do that again, just taking a full breath in. And then as you exhale, those subtle lifting in and up, navel in and up. The chin is slightly locked to the chest. And then find that space between your eyebrows and pause. And exhale, release it. And we'll do that one more time. Inhaling. Exhaling, lifting from the pelvic floor, finding the navel in and up, finding a little chin lock, back of the throat closed, eyes softened towards the third eye, pause. And exhale, release. And we'll bring the palms to meet in the center of the chest, finding an Om and 3 Shantis. Peace, peace, peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bow to the wisdom and the light and the beautiful energy that you bring forth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.